Has anybody walked on a row where those double rows of corn are? I'm on here, one right here, and it's just like, you know, walking on a bunch of cardboard boxes. Yep. And I like that part. And then right on the other side of it, it was that fully headed out rye that's now cranked down, providing a really beautiful cover. So the first spray application the soybeans had was in the middle of June when the rye was fully headed. And then I came in and, you know, cleaned up the field. And there really weren't a lot of weeds because between the corn residue and the rye residue, there weren't a lot of weeds. These are twin row 30s, correct. The question was, do I have trouble with white mold? With my crop rotation, I almost never have white mold issues. And it seems like people that plant into a heavy cover generally don't have a lot of white mold issues unless their rotation really sucks. But so the beans were about third trifoliate when we rolled them. And yeah, they're probably 6 inches tall. And I don't know, little of no damage to the beans, other than a little bit on the headlands, you know, where the roller and you double drive, and we get a little bit of issues on the headlands, but otherwise out in the main part of the field. Yeah, I mean, I've done it for years that way, and I just wouldn't do it any other way, no. For one thing, I want the rye to be dead and starting to kind of, you know, the stems start to break down a little bit. That way when I roll it, it'll kind of crunch them down a little bit. Otherwise, they actually interfere with spraying, you know, or whatever else I'm going to do. Or intercept sunlight from the beans, I think, a little bit. Although I'm getting less worried about that now than I used to be. There's a question about whether beating up the beans a little bit, rolling them at that size, whether you get a little more branching. Honestly, the roller's up on those corn rows, and they hardly touch the beans, okay, other than on the headlands. But yes, if you do kink over a stem or something, then a bean will compensate by throwing out a couple from their axillary buds. There's quite a bit of research that would indicate that there's really no yield loss of rolling when the beans are up, and sometimes yield increases. Mm-hmm. But it sure slows to keep some stuff standing, slows the wind down, slows evaporation down. We could take some plants back and pick the pods and have edamame this evening. My farm, like you asked me earlier what my 5-year, so my 5-year soybean average would be about 50. I'm usually planting at about 140,000. And I'm using an air seeder, not a planter. If I had a planter, I would probably use it, but beans are pretty good at compensating. I've compared against planters, and you know, other than maybe daring to go to at a lower population, I haven't seen any difference in yield using a planter versus not. Yeah, we usually run a 0.9 or up to a 1.3 for maturity. This field is very rocky. You can see a rock pile up on the hill up there. But we do have rocks, some, and it only takes one to cause some major damage. So I like to roll from a rock standpoint, but I also like to just, when you're harvesting soybeans, just to kind of flatten out that surface a little bit. Header stays down a little better and we can do a nicer job. One thing about seed beans is, you know, they don't like them dirty. We're floating on a mat of crop residue, so I usually have some of the highest clean scores with Pioneer of anybody in the plant. Other than the badgers and pocket gophers, but we just are a little more careful around the outside edges. I used to hate badgers, and I love badgers now because badgers eat gophers. Yeah, I used to think badgers were the scourge of the earth, but I don't think that anymore. This is a prime field for bio-strip till. Why I don't like regular strip till, because these slopes can erode quite easily with any tillage. So I try to eliminate tillage altogether across the farm, but especially on fields like this, because even strip till erodes quite easily.